Picture this. You're seeing a woman every guy in the room notices. She's sharp, attractive, socially in demand. When you walk in together, heads turn. And you? You treat her like she's winning the lottery every single day. You're buying flowers, paying for everything, rearranging your schedule, writing long good morning and good night texts, calling just to check in. You compliment her constantly. You're attentive, available, reliable, and endlessly patient. On paper, you're the dream, the man her mother told her she should marry. But behind the scenes, something strange is happening. She's getting bored, she's pulling away. Texts get shorter, calls come later. Plans suddenly need to be rescheduled. She's scrolling her phone when you're together. Your effort is going up, her interest is going down. And you're sitting there thinking, what else do I have to do? I'm giving her everything. How is that not enough? What I'm about to tell you will feel harsh if you've been raised on the just be a nice guy and everything works out fairy tale. But if you actually want to understand attraction, not just hope for it, you need to hear this. Here's the brutal, unpolished truth. A woman cannot stay deeply attracted to a man she feels she has completely conquered. If she is absolutely certain she has you wrapped around her finger, if she knows you'll be there no matter what she does, something fundamental in her attraction system starts to shut down. Not because she's evil, not because women are the problem, but because certainty kills tension, and tension is what fuels attraction. When she feels she has to reach up for you a little, reach up to your standards, your focus, your self-respect, she's engaged, she's involved, she's emotionally invested. When she feels you're emotionally begging for her, the polarity flips. She becomes the one evaluating you, not the other way around. And once that happens, you stop being a man she looks up to and start being a man she manages. That shift is invisible on the surface, but she feels it in her body. Before we go further, let me be crystal clear. I'm not talking about being cruel, withholding love, or playing childish mind games. I'm not telling you to mistreat women or abuse their emotions. That kind of behaviour is weak and pathetic. What I'm talking about is understanding the deeper psychology behind attraction, so you stop sabotaging yourself with neediness, overinvestment, and the desperate need for approval. If you stay with me through this, you're going to understand why good guys so often get demoted, sidelined, or left. Why giving more and more rarely fixes a woman's decreasing interest. How to stay kind, respectful, and generous without becoming predictable, boring, or emotionally dependent. How to hold your frame so she feels both safe with you and challenged by you. Let's break it down. 1. The ancient program running in modern dating. You live in a world of smartphones, grocery stores, and social media. Her attraction system doesn't. Her attraction system was written in an environment where a bad partner choice could mean starvation or death. Strength, stability, and status were directly linked to survival. A man who couldn't hold himself together emotionally definitely couldn't protect anyone else. For most of human history, a woman couldn't afford to be casual about partner selection. Pregnancy made her physically vulnerable. Raising children required resources, protection, and consistency. Bad choice, bad outcome. Simple. That pressure shaped how women select men, even today, when outer reality has changed, but inner wiring hasn't caught up. What does that mean in practical terms? It means she's not just asking, is he nice to me? She's asking, consciously or unconsciously, does this man carry himself like someone who can handle life? Does he crumble under pressure or stay composed? Does he abandon himself just to keep me happy? Does he stand for anything beyond me? You can shower her with gifts, compliments, and attention. But if your behaviour signals weakness, insecurity, or a total lack of backbone, her deeper system reads, this man might be safe emotionally, but he's not strong. I can steer him, I can bend him, I can control him. And once she feels she can fully control you, it becomes impossible for her to feel deep respect. Without respect, attraction doesn't just drop, it withers. 2. The reality of value in the dating marketplace. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Value. There is a brutal but useful way to look at dating. It's a marketplace. Everybody, men and women, carries a perceived value based on physical appearance, social status and influence, emotional stability and confidence, lifestyle, ambition and direction, how other people respond to them. Now here's where most men get it wrong. They think value is mostly external: job title, car, bank account, brand of watch, number of followers. Those things can help. They're signals, but they're not the core. The core is this: how do you behave? Do you move like a man who has options, or like a man praying he won't be abandoned? Do you set standards for how you want to be treated, or just accept whatever you get? Do you live with a sense of purpose, or do you orbit around her emotional state? I've seen it play out over and over. One guy looks like he's high value on paper. Great career, nice car, well dressed. But around women he becomes hyper-responsive, over-eager, constantly available, afraid to disagree, terrified of upsetting her in any way. That behaviour screams, I'm not used to women like you. I'll do anything to keep you. Another man has a modest job, decent but not extraordinary looks. He doesn't have a luxury lifestyle. But he has a clear direction in life. He doesn't drop everything for anyone. He likes women, but he doesn't pedestalize them. He communicates kindly but directly. He knows how to walk away from disrespect. Women feel a completely different energy from him. This man is already someone, with or without me. If I'm in his life, it's because I add something, not because he needs me to feel whole. That perception of value, the inner posture, is far more powerful than any external label. 3. Why over-availability destroys interest. Let's walk through what most men do when they like a woman. They reply instantly to every text, cancel their plans whenever she's free, check in constantly. Did you get home safe? How's your day? Are you mad at me? Over-explain themselves when there's the slightest tension. Never risk a real disagreement. The idea is, if I just show her I care enough, she'll see I'm different from other men and she'll stay. Here's the problem: when your time, attention and emotional energy are available on demand at all times with zero effort required from her, she stops valuing it. This isn't a woman problem, it's human psychology. We take for granted what is guaranteed. We value what could be lost. Think of the difference between tap water and bottled water in a desert. Same substance, completely different value based on scarcity. Your attention works the same way. If she always knows, you'll pick up on the first ring. You'll instantly forgive every mistake. You'll be there no matter how she behaves. She stops investing mental energy in you. She doesn't need to. All of the tension, anticipation and curiosity that feed attraction start to evaporate. 4. Uncertainty, obsession and the male mistake. There's a concept in psychology called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. When rewards show up on a fixed schedule and with full predictability, people get bored. At unpredictable times and in varying intensities, people get hooked. Now, you're not a casino. You're not supposed to run a psychological experiment on people. But understand this: if you make your presence and approval completely predictable, you are turning yourself into background noise. On the flip side, when your life is full enough that you're not always reachable, when you don't jump for every notification, when you sometimes take time to respond because you're actually doing something, that natural unpredictability, assuming you're still consistent and respectful, keeps her engaged. The key difference is intention. If you're deliberately ignoring her, playing games, timing responses, and pretending to be indifferent, you're just insecure in a different costume. If you genuinely have a full life, a schedule, a mission, and you treat her as an important part of that life, but not the entire centre, she will feel both valued and challenged. Her mind starts to ask, what is he up to? Does he think about me as much as I think about him? Am I doing enough to keep his interest? Not because you are manipulating her, but because you're not acting like a man whose entire identity is boyfriend. You are a man first, then a partner. 5. Tests, reactions, and what she's really looking for. You will be tested. not just by women, by life, by people, by circumstances. But in romantic contexts, women in particular will often test you in subtle or not so subtle ways. Not because they sit at home thinking, let me play a game with him, but because they are constantly, unconsciously asking, is this man who he appears to be, or is he just trying to please me? These tests might look like, she mentions another man approvingly, she gets cold or distant for a while, she cancels plans last minute, she sees how you respond when she's in a bad mood. Most men fail these tests spectacularly. They respond with jealousy, panic, desperate reassurance, overcompensating gestures. They demonstrate that their emotional state is completely dependent on her. That is the fast lane to losing her respect. What is a better way to respond? Not by punishing her or being cruel, but by showing that you won't abandon your self-respect, your emotional stability, or your perspective just because her mood changed. Examples. She mentions how handsome some other guy is. Low-value reaction. Why are you talking about him? Am I not good enough? Grounded reaction. Good for him. Then you carry on as normal. She cancels plans last minute. Reactive response. I can't believe you'd do this. Don't you care about me at all? Grounded response. All right, no worries. Let's catch up some other time. Then you go do something with your evening instead of sulking. She gets short and irritable with you for no clear reason. Pleasing reaction. Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Tell me what to do. Grounded reaction. You seem off. If you need space, take it. I'm not going to be around you if you're just going to take it out on me. You're not being cold. You're not playing a role. You're simply refusing to let another person's emotional turbulence drag you into chaos. That stability is what her deeper system is looking for. 6. Why treating her well isn't the whole story. A lot of men hear all this and swing to extremes. Either they continue to overgive, over-explain, and over-pursue, and stay confused about why it doesn't work, or they flip into fake coldness, rudeness, emotional unavailability, and disrespect, thinking that's what high value looks like. Both are wrong. The issue is not that you treat her well. You should treat people well. The issue is, do you treat yourself well at the same time? Do you maintain standards for how you are treated? Do you stop giving when you can see she isn't reciprocating? Do you maintain your own life, boundaries, and direction? Many good guys are only good outwardly. Inside, they are terrified of loss. They tolerate things that go against their values. They don't speak up to avoid conflict. They become nice as a strategy, not as an authentic expression of character. That's not goodness, that's fear. On the other hand, some men act like arrogant jerks because they think it will create attraction. Often, they're just as insecure. They've just chosen aggression instead of submission. That's not strength. That's another form of weakness. The middle path is this: kind but not compliant, generous but not self-erasing, emotionally available but not emotionally dependent, capable of love but still fully capable of walking away if a situation is unhealthy. You don't need to become colder. You need to become stronger. 7. The role of mystery and depth. Let's talk about predictability. In the early stages of dating, there is mystery. She doesn't know exactly how you think. She doesn't know how committed you will be. She doesn't know all of your routines and inner workings. As time goes on, if you're not careful, your entire personality can flatten into the man who is always available, the man who always says yes, the man who never leads, just follows. Predictability in routine can build comfort and safety. That's good. Predictability in emotional reaction, where she can press any button and know exactly how you'll respond, kills polarity. You maintain depth and mystery not by adding fake drama, but by continuing to grow as a person, maintaining interests, hobbies, and friendships outside the relationship, having private goals, projects, and challenges you're working on, staying principled enough that she can't manipulate you with guilt or approval. She should be able to predict your integrity, not your every emotional twitch. She should feel, I know the kind of man he is. I don't always know what he will do next, because he thinks for himself, but I know he will act according to his values. That's the mix of safety and suspense that keeps things alive. 8. Emotional investment and power imbalance. In any relationship, one basic pattern is always at play. Who is more emotionally invested? This isn't about playing power games, it's about understanding dynamics. When you text first every time, always suggest the plans, constantly check the temperature of the relationship, apologize even when you haven't done anything wrong, adjust your life around her while she barely adjusts anything around you. You are taking the majority of emotional risk. You are doing the majority of the emotional work. Over time, that shifts the entire frame. You become the one chasing. She becomes the one choosing. Healthy relationships are not perfectly balanced at every moment, but on average, they aren't wildly lopsided either. If you notice, you are always the one, initiating conversation, fixing problems, holding the emotional tension. Stop. Not dramatically, not with a speech. Just stop doing more than your share. Let her call. Let her suggest plans. Let her show you where her investment actually is. You will quickly see whether you had an actual connection or you were carrying the whole thing on your back. 9. Frame, the unseen battle. One of the most important concepts in relationships is frame. Your frame is your view of yourself, your view of reality, your standards and principles, your sense of what is and isn't acceptable. Everyone has a frame. The question is whose frame dominates the relationship. Examples. If your frame is, my value depends on whether she approves of me, you'll do anything to keep her approval. She raises her voice, you back down. She rewrites history, you let it slide. She disrespects you, you rationalize it. Her frame becomes the truth. You just adapt to it. But if your frame is I am responsible for how I live, what I accept, and who I allow close to me, the dynamic changes. You don't need to fight, argue, or dominate. You simply state your perspective clearly, act in alignment with it, refuse to stay in situations that violate it. Women will test your frame, not because they hate you, but because they need to know, will this man abandon his principles to keep me, or will he remain himself? If you crumble every time there's tension, if you adopt her version of reality just to avoid conflict, you are showing her you can't hold your own center. Attraction doesn't live there. 10. Attraction versus love. Why good intentions aren't enough. A lot of men confuse love with attraction. Love, care, loyalty, familiarity, shared history. Attraction, tension, polarity, excitement, desire. A woman can love you because you've been there, because you've supported her, because she feels safe with you, and still not feel deep attraction. That's how you end up in situations where she says, I care about you, but I'm not in love with you. Most men respond by doubling down on the love side. More care, more reassurance, more logic, more effort. They think, if I just show her how much I care, the desire will come back. It doesn't work because love doesn't create attraction. Attraction creates love. Love without attraction is friendship. Attraction without love is unstable. Long-term relationships need both. But most nice guys lean so hard into comfort, support, and reliability that they completely forget how to maintain attractive tension. You do not need to become less loving to be more attractive. You need to stop killing attraction with excessive availability, fear-based compliance, lack of boundaries, emotional dependence. You can be deeply caring and still say no, disagree, walk away if necessary, prioritize your mission, refuse to tolerate disrespect. That combination, warmth plus backbone, is what sustains passion. 11. The abundance mindset without faking it. Let's talk about abundance. An abundance mindset is not about collecting endless partners or bragging about conquests. It's about internal posture. Abundance means, I would like you in my life, but I don't need you. Losing you would hurt, but it wouldn't destroy me. My sense of worth does not come from your validation. When you have genuine abundance, You naturally don't chase. You don't beg when someone pulls away. You don't hold on to relationships that are clearly dying. You don't tolerate behavior that goes against your values. You don't need a roster of women to feel abundant. You need a real life, work, or a mission you actually care about. Physical health and habits that keep you strong. Friends and community. Hobbies and interests that matter to you. A sense that your future is bigger than your current situation. From that place, you show up differently. You can be fully present with her, because you're not calculating every move. You can give without fear, because you know you won't collapse if it ends. You can love honestly, because you're not trying to purchase her loyalty. If you have no life, no mission, no direction, and you try to fake abundance by delaying texts or copying alpha scripts, she will feel the emptiness underneath. Real abundance is lived, not performed. 12. What this looks like in practice. Let's tie everything into a concrete contrast. Two men, same woman, same initial attraction. Man A, impressed by her beauty and attention, quickly makes her the centre of his emotional world. Texts constantly, always available, always accommodating, avoids any disagreement in case she leaves, feels anxious when she doesn't respond quickly, slowly becomes a man who exists to keep her comfortable. Man B, impressed by her, but clear he has a life, interested, but not obsessed, answers when he can, not as a reflex, leads plans and invites her into his world, communicates clearly when something bothers him, maintains his routines, goals, and friendships. Both treat her well, both are kind, both are respectful, but she feels something different around each. With Man A, she feels power, but no challenge. She feels like she can control the tempo and mood without effort. She feels safe, but not necessarily inspired. Over time, she loses respect. With Man B, she feels chosen, but not worshipped. She feels a steady emotional presence that doesn't crumble when she's upset. She feels like she has to show up as her best self to stay aligned with him. One becomes a comforting pillow she eventually leaves. The other becomes a man she admires and doesn't want to lose. 13. What to actually do. Now this only matters if you translate it into behaviour. Here's where you start. Audit your neediness. Where are you over-investing? Where are you chasing? Where are you saying yes when you mean no? Be brutally honest with yourself. Strengthen your life outside of women. Get your body in shape. Build skills. Improve your finances. Fix your sleep. Get around strong, grounded men. The more solid your life is, the less desperate you'll be in relationships. Set actual standards. Write down what you will and will not tolerate: disrespect, flakiness, emotional chaos, constant drama. Then align your behaviour with that list. Stop rewarding bad behaviour. If she cancels last minute repeatedly, you don't keep offering more dates. If she disrespects you, you don't argue for hours. You calmly withdraw your presence. Practice calm under pressure. When you feel triggered, pause, breathe, wait before you respond. Train yourself not to fire off reactive texts or speeches. Maintain your frame. You can listen, empathize, and adjust. But you don't abandon your core values, mission, or identity to avoid conflict. Be willing to lose her rather than lose yourself. That one shift alone will change your entire energy. You become lighter, more honest, and paradoxically more attractive. You don't need to become colder. You need to become harder to knock off center. You don't need to treat women worse. You need to stop treating yourself worse than you treat them. You don't need to master tricks, scripts, or fake personas. You need to understand that attraction is not built by worshipping someone, but by standing side by side with them as a man who already respects himself. Women don't fall in love with you simply because you're available. They fall in love with how they feel in your presence. Do they feel safe but bored? You'll become a friend. Do they feel excited but never safe? It will burn out. Do they feel both secure and challenged? That's when things become powerful. You can keep playing the nice guy script and hoping somebody eventually appreciates you for suffering in silence, or you can step into a different role. A man who is kind but not compliant, present but not needy, emotionally available but not emotionally fragile, strong enough to love deeply and still walk away when necessary. That shift will not only change the way women respond to you, it will change how you see yourself. And that is the real win.